You were diagnosed when you were 7, right?
Yes, I had to go to Dallas, Texas, in America to get diagnosed. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And can you tell us about the procedure? Like, I don't know if you remember it, because obviously you were
Um,
7.
yeah, so they had a bunch of suspicions about
Mm-hmm.
what it could be, and I can't remember what actual tests they ran, but they ran like quite a lot over the span of I think 2 or 3 days,
Mm-hmm.
including skin biopsies, blood tests. I think I remember something about a water tank. They had to check like my lung capacity or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and just a bunch of these different tests, and they narrowed it down to some form of progeria, which is why it's called atypical progeria, which
Mm-hmm.
means just like the not normal, not classical progeria.
Yes, and as I saw on, because that's what I was saying, I don't know if you cared, because if someone Googled your name, you're
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
So I did a little research and I read so many things, and they say, that's why I'm asking you, because obviously, with the internet, you don't know what's true and everything, that you're the only person classed as atypical progeria.
Uh, yeah. So there's different people with an atypical progeria, but I'm pretty much the only one with my type because they always have like tiny little differences in the genetics, and so I'm the only one with my type of atypical.
Mm-hmm. And you're 22 right now?
I am 22. Yes.
Yes. I saw your birthday was in February.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you is that I saw in another interview that you did that you said that you suffer from like, with your bones, that you have aches and pains.
Yeah.
Uh, is that something that you can take painkillers, or for example, if you do some activity like swimming or something like that, that might help you?
Yeah. So I do take painkillers, but I only take them when the pain gets like quite bad and quite annoying.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned to just live with constant like slight aches and pains and stuff. I only need to take the medication when I need to. Uh, swimming, swimming, it does help quite a bit. That is nice for my bones and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do hydrotherapy,
Mm-hmm.
which was just like doing exercises in warm water to help my movement, help relax my muscles, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, yeah, doing any like strenuous exercise or doing stuff for long amounts of time can wear my bones and muscles out.
Mm-hmm. Is there, I saw also, because as I said, I found you everywhere. Like you're on Pinterest, you're on Google, you've got all this. I've seen you being awarded for a lot of things, and that you were with the Olympic torch. Do you want to talk about that? About your awards, how you've got in this whole community of managing to get in the Olympic torch and getting all these awards?
Yeah, so I have like I said, I've got a few awards, and these are mainly for just like being me, not letting my condition affect me in sorts of ways, and just like trying to spread awareness for progeria and for children with like disabilities and that sort of thing.
I saw that you also have a blog that if anyone wants to Google you after,
Yeah.
how can they find that? Is it because I saw you also have a Facebook page? What do you think is better, like the Facebook page or the blog? Which is the one you update more, and then people can follow you there?
So the best one is probably the Facebook page, which is atypical progeria syndrome, and on there you should be able to find a link for the blog, and it's my mother who keeps the blog updated, and it's not as much as the Facebook, but the blog is updated when like big milestones or big things happen in my life.
Would you like to tell some of the milestones, as you said, and I mentioned one of them when you carried the Olympic flame?
Yeah.
Is there something else that like, what do you consider the biggest milestones up until now?
So a lot of the big milestones, especially for children with progeria, is, in a sad way but truthful way, the birthdays. As children with progeria usually have a shorter life expectancy, and just getting to do things like an adult will do, so like learning to drive, that was a big milestone for me. Getting to the age of 21, same with 18. Yeah, so it's them sort of milestones where you don't really expect children with progeria to achieve.
So it's, as you say, like things that people every day would take as granted.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
What I also saw that I don't think a lot of, because as you said, you're trying to spread awareness, is there is, if I understood right, there is like a community of people that have progeria that maybe they could follow. I saw that you like traveling, and I've seen that you've got together with other people that have progeria. Is there a community, or it just happened that you have these people?
Yeah, so there's multiple communities out there. So there's the main Progeria Family Circle, which is the main like organisation that can help run the Progeria unions, which are, like I said, reunions where they get to all the Progeria kids and families in Europe, and I think they have their own in America as well. But they get together in a country for a couple of days and just have a break from like normal life, get to have some fun, get to see each other again. And so that's the Progeria Family Circle. And then there's a charity. There's a charity linked with that, so people can help fundraise for these reunions. And there's also the Progeria Research Foundation, which I dedicate to finding the cure and helping research progeria. And yeah, that's another big community for progeria.
Is there, as you said, people can, there's a foundation that people can help and donate. What is the research on that topic? Is there, like, is there light in the tunnel? Do doctors have high hopes of, for example, in the next years, they will manage to solve it or find some medicine that will help in any way, even if it's, as we said, for joint pain or to prolong life? Like, is there something, because I don't know about that part.
Yeah, so there's actually been a breakthrough recently for Hutchins and Guilford progeria, which is the more classical form of progeria, where they've got a drug which can pretty much help prolong their life because it helps with the heart reasons, like heart issues that they can have. And so that medication has recently been approved for drug trials for the kids to use. However, it's a bit different for my type, as that type of drug won't affect me. And so this is like an issue where there's amazing breakthroughs for children with Hutchinson Guilford progeria. However, there's not as many for me because it's just a strange type of progeria that's hard to understand.
Because I don't know if you need to do follow-up like with your doctor or your GP. Do they have, as you say, because they have found something for the different type, but what do they say about your type? Because as you said, you've been to America. Are there doctors in the UK that can help in any way?
So I have follow-ups with my doctors, like a cardiologist for my heart. I see a geneticist down in London. I see many different doctors to like catch up on things and see how I'm doing. But the main research for progeria is done in Boston in America and in Marseille in France. And they are testing with my genetics. It just takes longer and it's a lot more difficult than the standard type of progeria.
What I wanted to ask you is because do you work? Like, do you are you able? Obviously, you are able because you can drive. I don't mean it in that way. I mean because as you said, you get a lot of joint pains, and obviously, uh, being on an 8-hour work, that could cause you like more strain and for it to be more hard to do a job.
Yeah, so I do work. I'm a web developer for a company called Simply Biz that deal with like financial support and compliance to financial advisors across the country.
Oh, wow.
And, yeah, they're an amazing company who help me massively, and they understand my needs and everything, and I can have breaks when I need. I can relax. They can help me sort out my desk if things get uncomfortable after a while. But yeah, they're a very supportive company.
That's good because obviously I'm guessing you can work from home now. With
especially with coronavirus and everything. I am working from home, and they've helped me massively to get settled into that. And it's I do get tired sometimes, and I need like breaks from now and then. But yeah, they're very supportive with everything I do.
That's good. That's good. And I saw, because I don't know about Scouts, but I did see that you used to be in Scouts.
Yeah.
Is that something that you follow up until now, or is it in earlier years that you did it?
Yeah, I did that in my earlier years. I stopped doing that when I was around, I think, 14 or 15 years old. Yeah, and so that was just, I went all the way from Beavers, which is like the beginning of the Scouts.
Yeah, I've heard that one. Yeah.
To Explorers, which is like the end of it before a leader. I don't know if that's still the same now.
Yeah, because I don't know also, like up until what age you can be. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
That one. Because I saw you've been getting awards there also. You've been getting awards everywhere.
Yeah, with Scouting, I achieved the Chief Scouts Award for Meritorious Conduct. And I got to meet the Chief Scout, who at the time was Bear Grylls. And yeah, that was for just like not letting my condition affect me. I was still enjoyed being a scout. I still tried to fit in with the Scouts and do everything they did within reason that I could.
Yes. Did you have, because obviously when as you said, that you discovered that you have this when you were 7. Did you realize, like, were you getting joint pains or something in that age that made you like realize that I'm starting to have pains, like something's different?
Well, I knew there was something different about me. I can't remember if I had like any actual aches and pains back then, but I definitely had the features, like the physical features of a child with progeria. So my face looked different from everybody else's. Well, everybody's face looks different, but yeah.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
I had like tight skin, which a lot of progeria kids do. I was very small for my age, very skinny. So yeah, I knew there was something different about me, but because I was just young and naive, I just didn't really know anything different. And even when I got diagnosed, it still didn't change really anything for me, because I was still me.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Is that something that, obviously, yes, if you want to answer this question, is it something like, for example, in school, or as you say, because you were in Scouts, that it made you, like, did other people make you feel not less, but like make you, oh yes, he does have a different, or because you know how children can be.
Yeah.
They will always find something. Did you have a good group of, friends growing up? Were they supportive? Because I've seen from interviews, your mom, and as you said, she's the one that's like in charge of the pages and stuff. So I'm guessing like your family is pretty supportive. But did you get the same while growing up from friends or from school or scouts?
Yeah, I got tons of support from friends in school. There was always the odd kids or children or whatever that always used to try and like bring me down or just have a laugh or something like that. But the majority of people from my time in school anyway, yeah, they're incredibly supportive. They never really treat me any differently.
Yeah.
They were always like careful and wary of me when any time like especially when playing football or something like that, which I wasn't really meant to do because of possible injuries. But like they never like be too rough or anything like that. So they tried their best not to treat me differently, but they always did also care for me at the same time. And I definitely did have a lot of like support from friends.
That's amazing. That's because, as you say, there's always the ones that will find something.
Yeah.
Even if, whether there is something there or there isn't, there's always. And I believe what they say, that most of the times they're the people that have issues with themselves. So they would try to find something on someone else. Even if you're the nicest person, or I don't know what, they will still pick up on something.
Yeah.
But obviously, yes, it's hard, like, to see it that way when you're going through it. And yes, as I say, school is always a hard time to go through.
Yeah, but the like love and support that I did get from friends massively outweighed the little annoyances or things that other people would do. So it never really affected me that much. Like it never made me get down. It never made me not want to go to school or anything.
That's good. That's good. I saw you're really into video games, stuff like
Yeah.
that, which I love because I love video games also. So when I saw that part, I was so excited. What's your favorite one? Like, if you have to pick one game.
So probably my favorite game of all time would be Halo 2, which is an Xbox game.
Yes, I know. My sister is obsessed with that one.
However, like I mainly play PC now, and so my main game or favorite game at the moment on that would be a game called League of Legends.
Yes, I know.
That I play with a bunch of friends, and I play a bunch of different. I play like a very wide variety, and I can jump from like genre to genre.
I saw that you like anything that's Japanese. Also.
Yeah, I do. I am interested in like Japanese culture and anime and that sort of thing.
Have you been to Japan? Or
I did. Yeah, I went in 2019, I think it was, for the first time with my brother Jack, and we stayed in Tokyo for I think 8 or 9 days, and yeah, that was amazingly fun. And
I bet it was amazing. Like, I would love to travel there because it's a totally different world.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a totally different culture. I think people, even if you're not, because as you say, you're into all that of like the anime and all that. But even if you're not, I feel it's a journey, a travel that you need to do in those cultures because it just changes your mind so much and you do things differently. Have you looked into, there's a question now that we said about Japan. Is there a community of progeria in Japan? Have you heard that?
Say that again, sorry.
Have you, as you said, the progeria community is a big one, so there are people around the world. Have you searched if there is a same community in Japan?
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there is a little girl from Japan. I remember seeing a photo of that. I've never spoken to them or had any real contact with them, but I think there is one little girl there, as far as I know now. Yeah.
Do you know, because I didn't search this, that's why I'm asking you. Do you know how many people there are around the world with progeria? Because as I said, and you said that you're considered the only one with this condition. But the progeria is do you know how many people there are around the world? Because I kind of tried to find for the UK, but I don't know if you know, have you searched that?
I don't really know that answer, no. Because
yeah.
usually things like the statistics are kept separate. So I know like how many are in England. I know as pretty much now. I think I know it's me, and then there's another girl called Ashanti who lives in the southern part of England, and we're the only two in England, in the United Kingdom.
Wow.
But there used to be 4 or 5 of us, but sadly some people passed away. But yeah, the numbers change and stuff like that, and I don't really have enough number for you. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But I just wanted to ask. But I will look into that because now I'm curious. So, if someone wants to join this community, like, do you know how many people are in the community? Is there like a lot of people? Obviously, as you said, people can join and help.
Yeah.
So how? Yeah.
There's thousands of people in the community, spanning from all across the world. Yeah, just searching like Progeria Family Circle or the Progeria Research Foundation, they can find out more information how to like join the communities or support the communities.
Yes. And do you have, like, as you said, you have annual meetups? Is that something, for example, this year it's going to be in UK, next year it's going to be in Canada, or how does it work?
So we try to keep, because I'm a part of the European group, the European families try to keep their own reunions, and then I think the American families keep to their own. So if enough money is made throughout the year, we can then organise a reunion. And yeah, so it pretty much just it costs for the families to be flown out to whatever country it is in. So in my case, it'll be Europe. So one year it might be Turkey, one year it might be Spain, England, France, Belgium, whichever. But the flights are free because it's all paid for the Progeria Family Circle. So that's why it's really important to like fundraise for that. And so it's like it's not taking anything away from the families. It's like the families don't have to pay to come on it. They can just come along, they can enjoy, have a good time. Like everything's paid for. And everyone can just meet up and have a great time here. But like because there is a lot of families, it is expensive and it is really important to like fundraise as much as we possibly can.
If I will search it and then I will put it on my stories, so then maybe more people can help and fundraise. What I wanted to ask you is that, because I saw it on one of your interviews while I was searching, is that this condition is, so for example, it's not like, oh, my mother had heart conditions, so then like I who have heart conditions. It's not something that passes through generations. Is that right?
So for progeria, it will, because it is genetics, it is most likely going to pass down into children, that sort of thing. But I'm pretty sure it's like unknown or not researched enough whether it's going to be less severe or more severe or the same. Because I only know of one person who has ever had a child, and their child did have progeria, but it was a lesser form. Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure about that one, because I saw on the interview that your mother is Austrian, that no one had it in your family before, if I'm right.
Yeah, so my particular progeria was just a random genetic mutation that just happened to happen. It wasn't passed down from anybody. Like he wasn't from my mother's family, I wasn't from my father's family. It was just a random genetic change which happened to me.
I wanted to ask you, because when I've had interviews with other people, obviously it's totally different. As like the first interview I had, the guy had a car accident, he lost his leg, so then the government helped. And I don't know how it works because all of my interviews up until now, people were from the US. So they would tell me that US government in general helps, but I don't know how it is in UK, even though I live here. But does the government help in any way? Even if it's to pay your meds, or for example, if you need physio, or if you work, but do you have the choice of not going to work because the government might help you financially?
Yeah, so the government does help massively, yes. And obviously, as you know, the NHS, that's the free medical service that we get to have over here. And so I'm not really having to pay for appointments or anything like that. Or treatments like I guess they would in America. But yeah, the UK government do help me sort of financially in a way that they have a thing called a disability living allowance, where if a person with a disability struggles to get to work, depending on the severity of their disability, they can live off that. However, I have it in a form of I get a car so I can go to and from work.
Okay, yeah.
So I get a car from the government, and what would have been my living allowance would be put into the car to pay for that. But other people, yeah, so some people with disabilities who can't unfortunately get jobs, they do live off this allowance, and it does help them massively.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that. You are spreading awareness on everything. Someone saying hello from Italy.
Hello.
Sylvia. Yes, if anyone else has any questions to ask below, because I won't keep you too long. Yes, so obviously I don't want you to tell me this part, like there's no need. But if, as you said, if you didn't get the car that you do to go to work, is the amount that the government gives enough, like for monthly, for all your expenses monthly? Because I know, sorry to interrupt you, because I know in America that they give like a huge amount of money, but as I said, because all of my interviews up until now have been with people from there, so I don't know how it is in the UK.
Yeah, so it is a living allowance, so even the smallest amount of money you get, because it ranges depending on what type of disability you have, so you may get more or less, so that sort of thing. But yeah, from the amount that I had, it was enough to get by and pay bills and buy food and that sort of thing. But however, I didn't really want to do that because I knew in myself I was able to get a job. I'm able to provide things for myself. But the car on top of that does help a lot. Because if I need, I can have adjustments made to the car to make it comfortable for me, and because I'm small, to make the seats right for me, the steering wheel right for me, so I can get these modifications that allow me to drive and so I can get from A to B.
Yes, I understand. And obviously it gives you, if you want to go somewhere with the car, it's not like you're going to work. Obviously, you're pretty active, as I see in social media, on the internet, everywhere. What I want to ask you is, do you have plans? Because I see that in general, you're spreading so much awareness. Because as I said at the beginning, if someone Googles your name, you're all over the place. Like, I was like, I am interviewing a celebrity today. Is there something that you want to do in the next years that, in order to spread awareness, like, would you like to start your own community? Would you start, you're already doing it with the blog and the page on Facebook, but is it something that you would like to do extra to spread even more awareness?
So when it comes to me, usually I have like the communities I've already made, and I can use them to spread awareness.
Mm-hmm.
But as I don't do that as much as I used to, because
Yes, I
now,
remember. Yes, sorry to interrupt you. I remember because when I asked you to have an interview, you actually told me that.
yeah,
But yeah, would you like consider to start a YouTube channel or something like anything?
see, it comes down to like a decision I've made where I don't want it to like be a big thing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to get on with my life,
Yeah.
and I don't really want to focus on it too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do the odd thing here and now,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not gonna actively do it all the time.
Yeah.
So like I said to you before, there's a massive break in like any publicity or media that I did, just because sometimes it can get overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because like you do one piece and then all these other people are like, oh, can you talk to me? 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 And I'm like, one of the main reasons why I was happy to do this is because like I just really loved the idea, and it wasn't like forceful like news or anything.
Yeah.
And obviously it's still a small thing at the moment, but I'd love to help something like this grow
Oh,
and become a
thanks
big
so
thing.
much. That means so much to me. It's an honor to have you. And yes, when it's huge, it will be you need to come on the big show. He helped me. He helped me get up there. Thanks so much. That's so nice, and it is an honor to have you. And I really appreciate that you did this because, as you said, when you told me like don't do this anymore, and as I said to you when we spoke the previous days, that I just wanted you to feel comfortable with the whole idea and just for you to be happy in any possible way because I didn't want to cause you any pressure in any way. And I would have a question. Is there any dream you would like to fulfill in the future? That's a good one. Dimitri always asks the best questions.
Any dream? I guess my dream would be, this might be boring for other people, but
No.
my dream would just be live the most normal life that I can, full of friends and family and love and that sort of thing. So yeah,
Would
like
you
you're saying, things that some people may take for granted, like it's a normal thing to just
Yeah.
live your life. But yeah,
No, I don't think anyone's dream like is boring or like crazy in any way. Because if you tell me like something as you said that you just want a normal life, or if you told me I want to go to the moon in like a year, I feel like anything is possible as long as you want it. So whatever
yeah,
you want, just go after it. And I believe that so much. So whenever anyone tells me the dreams, there's no chance I would laugh or anything because you know what you want and you can just go after it. And anything you told me, if you said to me, I want to be in a movie in 2 years, or I want to go, I don't know, somewhere crazy in the middle of nowhere to live, like it, nothing is. If that's what you want, that's what you want at the end of the day. Would you like to start a family of your own at some point? Is that something that you could think about?
I would, yeah. So I would love to do that. But obviously it's not a main priority right now. But I would love
You're
to.
only 22. You have time. You have time.
But yeah, that would be a dream, yeah, to start a family.
Is there something, because I've covered all my questions, is there something that you would like to say, or to people that have progeria, or to like something for life, like anything you want?
I guess it would just be like, if anybody feels different in any sort of way, if anybody feels outcasted or alone, there is literally always somebody like you. There is always somebody you can relate to and connect with. And so it's just try not feel alone. try get yourself out there and find the person who is like you.
Yes, I agree, and that's what is this whole idea. And what I'm doing is face the elephant, because it's for people not to feel less alone. Because yes, you might be going through something, whatever it is, and you're like, okay, my story, no one's going through it. I feel so lonely. But that's the whole idea, that you share your story, and then someone else out there might see it at some point
Yeah.
and be like, hey, there's more people, like, I don't know, going through depression or going through some sort of disability or anything. But yeah, so I do agree with that. I mean, you need to have the down, the bad days and the good days, because that's what's
Yeah.
life about. It's just,
Yeah.
keep going. And you're exactly that example of people just keep going, keeping it positive. You as I said, you've done so many things, from, as you said, simple things for someone just normal, of getting a driving license, up until having the Olympic flame and getting all these awards. So you're the example here that we all need to follow. That whatever you want, you can do it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for today.
You're very
I
welcome.
I do appreciate it, because, as you said, you don't do this. You've taken a break from all interviews and being everywhere, because I've seen you have been in newspapers and magazines,
Yeah.
and so I do appreciate that you took the time and you came and shared your story.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I really, this cause and this the company or brand what you've made is like really stood out to me as something different and just different from the rest. So I wanted to like be somewhat part of it. I think it would have been ashamed if I just like said no. So I just wanted to like take another chance at doing something like this. And I'm
Thank
really
you
happy.
so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Really, it was an honor. And I hope maybe later on we can have a follow-up interview at some point.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much again. And I hope we will see you soon.
Yeah. Thank you too.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening.
You too. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.